Hi everyone. This lesson is for lesson number 1 out of our topics that we're going to be adding, subtracting, and multiplying fractions. So the first thing we're going to be working on today is adding and subtracting like fractions. These are the Alex topics that you can check off in your pie. So what does a like fraction mean? A like fraction means that I have the same denominator. So remember, when we're talking about fractions, our denominator is our bottom number. So when I see that my bottom number is the same, so 3/8 and 5/8, 8 is my denominator, I get to just do this like a normal addition problem. So I'm going to add 3. The numbers I'm going to add together would be 3 and 8. What does 3 plus 8 equals? It equals 8 over 8. When I write my answer, I always write my answer in simplest form. So if I use fraction tiles, like we can do in class, I have 3/8 plus 5/8, and we see that that is the equivalent as one whole unit. So 8/8 is equal to 1. Here's the good news. My rules are going to be the same for subtracting fractions with like denominators. So again, I see that I have 5/8 minus 3/8. So I see that my denominator is the same with 8. So I only have to worry about my top two numbers. What are my top two numbers in this case? Well, my top two numbers are 5 and 3. So all I have to worry about is 5 minus 3. What's 5 minus 3? It's 2. My denominator stays the same with 8. And again, my last step that I always do when I'm writing with fractions is I always write my answer in simplest form. So 2/8 can be reduced to 1/4. So 1/4 is my final answer. And again, if I look down here at my fraction tiles, I see that this is what I start with right here. I start with 5/8 and I subtract 3/8. How many more tiles do I need to get to 5/8? Well, you can see I need 2/8. 2/8 reduces to 1/4. So that's the background of how we're doing what we're doing. So let's just actually do a couple of problems here. So our first problem is going to be an adding problem. So I see that my denominator is the same. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in. Now all I have to do is 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. And I know that I need to simplify that. So my greatest common factor is 2. So I'm going to divide my top and my bottom numbers by 2. Again, this isn't anything new because we've been working with this. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2/3, final answer. Let's take a look at our other problem over here. I have my denominator is the same, so I have a common denominator of 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. That simplifies, my greatest common factor is 5, so that simplifies to 1/2. Now you can pause the video and do the 2 U-try problems, and I'll be back with the answer in just a second. So go ahead and hit pause. All right, I have a common denominator of 3, so 3 over 3 in simplest form is equal to 1. Again, 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 over 7 is equal to 1. So those are my answer for those 2 U-try problems. Now let's take a look at some addition problems. Or I'm sorry, some subtraction problems. So here we go. I see that I have a common denominator of 5. So I go ahead and fill that in. Now I just have to worry about my top two numbers. 4 minus 1 is 3. So my answer is 3/5. So if I have 4/5 of a pizza left in leftovers, and I eat 1/5, how much of my pizza is left? 3/5 of my pizza. Let's take a look at this one. My Common denominators there, it's 8. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 eighths, we know, simplifies to 1/4. I divide each by 2 to get 1/4. Go ahead and try the 2 you try problem, so hit pause and I'll be back momentarily. All right, so we see our common denominator is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. I know that 3 out of 6 is equal to 1/2 in simplest form. Common denominator of 12. 5 minus 2 is 3. Greatest common factor is 3, so I divide by 3. And I'm going to end up with 1/4 in simplest form. Okay? We will do our stamp page tomorrow at school, so until then, we'll see you then.